Hey guys, welcome back to the 208 Breakdown. I am Brantley McFetridge, and we are going to do the July 17th version of On This Day in History. A thing we're going to do, this new thing we're going to do on the channel now. Give you historical events that happen specifically on this day at any point in history. Really specific and very interesting events that have shaped how our world is now. And just to give you that perspective to really appreciate history like I do. And let's get right into it for the second episode ever on this day in history, July 17th. And the event that we will be talking about first is on July 17th, 1955, Disneyland officially opens in Anaheim, California. The park was opened under the overview of a massive broadcast called Dateline Disneyland. So millions of people in our country viewed this opening. So obviously Disney World has become a thing in Orlando, Florida. Walt Disney, huge cartoon maker. This is a game changer for a kid's perspective in the United States for cartoons, and it just this huge world for kids was created, and they did a second one in Anaheim, California on July 17th, 1955. The broadcast reached up to 90 million viewers watching this opening. And the crazy thing is, on opening day, the park had 20 attractions with 5 lands. So if anybody's been to Disneyland or Disney World, you know the drill with their concept and their layout of Main Street USA, Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. And the attractions included the Jungle Cruise, the Peter Pan's Flight, and the Mad Tea Party. These attractions are still being used today in Anaheim, California. Approximately $10 million in revenue had been in actuality from this land opening on July 17th, and that year they got about $10 million in revenue. And that's absolutely insane for that time in history in 1955. It's big money now, but obviously it was insane money back in the 50s. The park was $17 million to make, and a view of a normal human being coming to the park on opening day. General admission was a very understandable $1 for adults and 50 cents for children if you came to the park on that day on July 17th, 1955. And honestly, not bad for the time period. Not bad at all for what this would become as the years went on, and what Disneyland and Disney World has proved to be, as looking at it today on a 2026 standpoint. It's absolutely crazy what was done. So, there you have it for the first general event that happened on the events that we're going to cover today. Obviously, there's so many more historical events that happen on this day. I want to cover them. Some of the ones I find most interesting, and how just a best perspective of the thing. So, July 17th, 1955, Disneyland officially opens in Anaheim, California. This land is about 160 acres long. It was the land used to be a bunch of fields, and it became this $17 million park that generated about $10 million in revenue each year as the process continued for Disneyland in California, and it's truly insane. The second event that we'll be talking about is, we're going a little farther back in history. On July 17th, 1799, French soldiers in Egypt discovered the Rosetta Stone, an artifact that eventually allowed experts to decipher ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Now, I found this really interesting because this piece of equipment in our history really gave experts the tool to understand ancient Egyptian history and even help out in ancient Rome history. So we're going to talk about the Rosetta Stone for a minute. So it was carved in 196 BC, so 196 years before Christ. Originally, it was displayed in a temple before it was repurposed as a building material. And under the lead of Napoleon Bonaparte, French soldiers discovered this item on July 17th, 1799. Now, the piece of equipment includes 2 languages on the equipment. So the ancient Egypt and their standard ways of cursive writing and obviously hieroglyphics. And it also included ancient Greek stuff, which is really cool all just alone from that. And the Rosetta Stone is basically a layout of how to understand Egyptian hieroglyphics, and that's how we understand world history today from an Egyptian standpoint, from a ancient Greek standpoint. That far back in history, the Rosetta Stone is one of the tools to help us most understand this part of history and their writing and their communication and how we've evolved into our communication methods. English, Spanish, all those languages have developed from these core languages back 1,000, 2,000 years ago. And it's really cool that on this day in 1799, French soldiers, out of anybody, led by Napoleon Bonaparte, discovered this tool. And that's how the progress of understanding this kind of world history basically starts here, using this tool, the Rosetta Stone. So that is, I found that actuality really interesting. So there's that. So we got July 17th, 1955 and July 17th, 1799. Now, if any of you listened to the episode last night for the July 16th on this day in history by the 208 Breakdown, we'll give a little sports side of things. What happens sports-wise on this day, any point in history, but being sports, we're probably looking towards the late 1800s to... I'm going to stop around the 1990s because early 2000s to now, pretty much everybody has an idea of what has happened in these last 20 or so years. Just want to give you those more interesting facts that you probably don't know about if you're generally not acclimated to the sports world, if you know what I'm saying. So I just want to give you that really cool information about the sports view as well. So on this day in history, July 17th, a sports view. So we're going to start with 1988. And on July 17th, 1988, American track star Florence Griffith Joyner ran a blazing 10.49 seconds in a 100-meter race at the U.S. Olympic trials, a world record that still stands to this day. 1990, this is a baseball one. Bo Jackson of the Kansas City Royals and Deion Sanders of the New York Yankees. Again, these are two of the multi-sport professional athletes. So both of these guys played professional football and professional baseball. Absolutely crazy athletes. I believe Bo Jackson played for the Raiders at one point as just a beast of a football player. Deion Sanders he played for the Cowboys. I know that. I think he played for a couple more teams. But generally speaking, of Cowboys. And then this event in 1990, so Bo Jackson of the Kansas City Royals and Deion Sanders of the New York Yankees played a highly publicized game in Major League Baseball that night. That night, Bo Jackson hit 3 home runs and 7 RBIs, which is absolute madness. And Deion Sanders hit an inside the park home run. And to perform that kind of action in the sport of baseball, you have to be freakishly fast. You have to be a freak athlete, and that's what Deion Sanders was. He was, I believe, he was, if not the only, but some of the, it's not a big number, but some of the only players that have played in a Super Bowl and a World Series, which is absolute madness. And yeah, that night was crazy. Two of the best overall athletes in the United States play each other in baseball. What a crazy night on July 17th, 1990. Now, we're going to end our segment here tonight on this day of history, July 17th. In 1994, Brazil, on July 17th, 1994, Brazil defeated Italy 3-2 in a penalty shootout in Pasadena, California at the Rose Bowl, winning the 1994 World Cup this is the crazy part, after a tied 0-0 through 90 minutes of play. So if any of you don't understand how a soccer game generally works, so you have 90 minutes of play, okay, and then so it's weird. So you have 90 set standardized minutes of play, and then if you're still tied from that, you have your overtime. They call it I believe they call it extra minutes, extra time, so overtime. And this game was tied 0-0 after 90 minutes. They went to extra time, and the final score was 3-2. They scored 5 goals in extra time. That is also absolute madness. And Brazil won it in a penalty shootout. You don't see that a lot in all of sports generally, that like a shootout in like hockey, soccer. Just crazy madness. And what a cool way to end this July 17th version of On This Day in History. And that will do it for tonight. Again, I am Brantley McFetridge, the host of the 208 Breakdown. Be sure to come back tomorrow night, tomorrow morning, tomorrow night. I don't know when, but we will get it to you. The July 18th version of the On This Day in History 208 Breakdown style. And be sure to check out my podcast, the SRV Report on Spotify, hosted by me, Brantley McFetridge. Check out my trick shot shorts here on this YouTube channel, the 208 Breakdown here on YouTube, and be sure to come across more of this On This Day in History stuff. Now, next episode, I'm going to start a new series. So this channel is going to be based on all like series of different stuff. So we're going to start a movie review series that I'm very excited about, probably tomorrow, where I just watched the new live-action Moana movie today, so I will be giving that a recap and what I think of the movie tomorrow, video form. We're going to give it a report card grade, so out of 5 stars, and then it's going to be out of 25, I believe, so we're going to have category, and all that fun stuff, and we're going to give it an out of 25 ranking and give you it, again, my opinion, but just give you a standard look of what the movie's going to be like if you decide to check it out. So again, be sure to check out other videos on my channel and check out my podcast on Spotify. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.